We didn't come to this earth experience to decide that we'll be failures and be broke and busted and disgusted. Not to sound old fashioned. I remember hearing that back in the day. Nonetheless, hello, and welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Jameelah, and I am a master manifestor, and I'm sure you are too, because you are consuming content like this. The name of this lovely channel is Holistic Manifesting, because I believe in a whole body, whole mind, and whole being experience when it comes to manifesting these amazing lives that we are choosing. What I'm discussing in this video is that we did not come here to not create and expand and grow and be the best versions of ourselves. We didn't come to this experience to just decide that we're failures, that we're victims, and that this life is just too much and we're just ready to move on and we're just going to sit here until our days are up, right? We came here to be much bigger than what we even can fathom in our own minds. Because you have to understand that when you have not seen the thing before that you are creating, when you have not seen the thing before that you are aspiring to or that you are striving to in some sort of way, it is really hard to get a grasp on what it is you are creating and manifesting. Matter of fact, you may not even see all of the breadcrumbs of information as it's loading in your life, right? There are some manifestations and some things that I'm working on currently, and I am in a space right now that I've never seen before. I am in a personal space that I've never seen before, a physical space, and even what I do with my daily time and where I put my energy at. I've never been in this space before. And I can honestly say there are other things that I'm working on and creating, of course, and co-creating in my life. But I was like, is it happening? Is it working out? Am I really a master manifester? Which I believe that I am. And what I had to tell myself was, where you're trying to go, you have not seen it in your life. You haven't seen it from the specific version of you. This person who you are has never occurred before and will never occur again. You have not seen what the calm before the storm is. You have not seen what the breadcrumbs are, the trail leading up to the unique outcome, the unique expansion that you are working towards. So I had to remind myself of this so that I don't get caught up in, it doesn't look like this person's outcome. It doesn't look like that. It doesn't look like this. When am I going to have this or that or whatever it is that I'm talking about or working on? I have to keep in mind that no matter what, I didn't show up in this space to give up on anything and to allow any temporary circumstance to say that I don't deserve something in life or I shouldn't experience specific things in life or that thing that I really want to experience is not for me. I think sometimes that we live in a society where there's so many negative messages. There's so many outlets to where you can start feeling like the world is completely in shambles all the time. Well, I'm here to tell you, as a person who studied history, as a person who's done historical sociology, that and philosophy too, that was another eye opener because it goes even further back than a lot of the sociological studies. The world has always been in a certain level of shambles. The only difference with it now is that we have access to most of the shambles on a regular basis. Like you can pick up your phone at any given time and tap into some negativity that's happening somewhere in the world with some people and some environments. Whenever somebody's just like, there's a war going on, I'm like, there's never been a time in the history of human beings where there's not been a war going on. That is the world in which we operate. So we have to remember that this does not mean that we shouldn't create anything. This does not mean that what we're doing in our lives don't matter and don't mean anything. Who knows, whatever you're creating and expanding and growing to be may be something that can help or benefit people in other places and other environments. While on the larger scale, there may not be anything that we all can do to stop all the fires burning from every corner of the earth. But on a smaller scale, say you have access to people that are suffering in a certain kind of way in a certain environment, and what you're doing can actually make that person feel better. I'm a firm believer that sitting here making these videos and doing other things that I do in my life is improving the world and the environment around me at any given time. I was listening to, I don't remember who it was either Michael Singer or Wayne Dyer. And they were talking about how at any given time, you should feel gratitude to your fellow human being for not being chaotic and not causing trouble in the world. And it was a very interesting perspective. It was like when you're walking down the street and someone passed you and they just say hi, and this person passed you and they just say hi. They didn't ensue violence. They didn't cause a ruckus. They didn't make any negative comments. They didn't even give you their bad energy or whatever. He was just like, in those moments, you got to be like, oh, thank you. I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful for you for just being a human being that's contributing positively in the world by not contributing negatively into the world. So we have to remember that there's always something that we could be working on or doing or creating that will lift us up and also lift others up. We didn't come to this space to just say, I'm just going to do this little thing forever and I'm just not going to, expand and grow myself and I'm going to just, eat my... Oh my God, I used to know this lady. I used to go get her food. My mom knew her and she lived next door to us when we lived in Washington for some time. And she was literally like, I'm waiting to die. And she just ate her little shrimp every single night and ate her cereal for breakfast every single morning. And it was the same exact routine. And she was in a mindset was like, I'm already a loser. I've already failed with my children. I've already had my career and it was a useless career. This was her mindset. And now I'm just waiting for my time to come. And she actually did just that, wait for her time to come, doing the same thing every single day. But I was just like, you are a whole being of light. You are a whole existence of human being. You're like a big old ball of energy. Just think about all of the things and all of the people that person could have affected had they tried, had they just decided, I'm going to be more. I'm going to do more. I'm going to create something positive in someone else's life. Because this is the thing about the Creator. Even when we don't want to be used, we're being used anyway. We get to decide how we co-create a lot of times, but we're being used anyway. Because I definitely paid attention to her as an example. It wasn't an example of something I wanted to be, but it showed me, I'm telling a story about it today, it made me understand. I was like, we did not come to earth to just do that. So even though she felt like she was being useless and she wasn't being used for anything and she didn't have any value, she had great value in my life, but it wasn't the way she wanted to be valued. Most of us want to be valued for examples of positive things that we want other people to take on, or ways of life, or things, I went through this and I overcame this, right? We don't want to be seen for, we don't want to be used for, this is what not to do. This is how not to live. This is the decision you don't want to make, right? You want to be seen as, even though I made that decision, if it's already happened, this is how I turned that around. This is how I expanded. This is how I grew. Then other people can think like, well, maybe I haven't screwed the pooch. Maybe I haven't ruined my life. Maybe I haven't gotten to the end of the line and there's nowhere to fix it from here. Because she made the same decisions I made, and look where she's at now. Look what she created. Look at the positive attitude she has. Look how much light she's shining through the world every single day. That's the mindset we have to get in. We didn't come to earth to just decide this is a negative experience. Earth is unvaluable. We're unvaluable. The people here are unvaluable. So we're just going to wait it out. Like, what would be the use of that? Why are we even able to have a concept of this is positive expansion? This is growing ourselves in a great way. This is positively impacting others. And then this is negatively impacting others. Like, if we can even come up with those concepts, then something about that concept must matter, right? It must make a difference. Because why even give human beings the concept of deciding this would make me stronger? This would make me weaker. It's like we also inherently know what we put into our bodies is making us stronger, is making us more expansive, is making us more, making us feel better. And like we can inherently know when something is not, right? I know when I spend too many days eating processed things, whether it's healthy processed foods or whether I'm just eating whole foods, I feel completely different. When I'm eating processed foods, that's when I get into that mode where I eat and then I'm sluggish and I can't do anything for the rest of the day. And that's even the quote unquote healthy foods, because that's what processed foods will do most of the time. And so getting off of them completely would be a good idea, but sometimes it's just a part of my daily routine and what I'm doing. But just knowing that there's some intuition that's built in with the way that we operate, and we don't have to say, well, none of that means anything. That doesn't mean anything. That doesn't mean anything. I'm a firm believer of that nothing has any meaning except the meaning that you give to it. So even if someone else is telling you this, even me sitting here saying that your life has value, what you're doing has value, your light matters, it doesn't make any difference if that is not what you believe. But the fact that there's somebody sitting here who's making the choice to believe it, it means that it's an option. It's a concept. It's a way to live. And I can honestly see that it's much more rewarding than living a life of defeat, living a life of victimhood, living a life where you're not even of value and benefit to those around you. I've watched people do this too, have kids that they don't raise or take care of. And, barring any mental illness, some people claim mental illness, but they really don't have mental illness. But sometimes even barring that, just completely giving up on the relationships and deciding they're going to wallow in their own self-pity, in their own victimhood, in their own personal undoing. And then not only do they blame the people that they made the children with, they blame the person that made them and brought them into the world. And then they also teeing the children up to be blamed also too. And it's like, that is a useless existence. It's like, if you're not worrying about your lineage and the people that you put on this earth and the people that you created, then what are you doing? It's like, I'm not even judging it, but that's something we got to even look at in ourselves. If we're not putting those, that into place and taking care of it and making sure they have what they need, then it's like, what are we doing? What are we doing at the end of the day? And this is just talking about, when children are underage and you got to take care of them and stuff, because when they go out into the world and they become people and they get influences and they interact with people from all different kinds of places, you don't always have a say so anymore. That's just how that works. But at the end of the day, you've done your job, and that's how you got to feel like, I did my job. I raised them to the air. I launched them. I raised them. I put my time and energy into them. I did my best to create another little light to add to the world, right? If we don't do that, then it's just darkness, darkness, darkness. And, not doing anything and being complacent and feeling like I just came here to be a loser, that's just more darkness into the world. Anyway, hope that one wasn't too rough, because I felt like I was going deep into a space where this might be rough, but it's okay. It's what I got to say. Have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful day.